This is D Brown, the Begotten Son, and today we're gonna dive within the Soundwave of Cuban links.
Y'all been eating long enough, now stop being greedy. See your hands on that pies, make me clap for the needy. I've been cracking the code. How can I fail? How can I fail?
To open up this song, one, I got the ominous bells that's going on. You know, we hear a lot of bells today and all that. And seeing when I made this track and I had a lot of those bells going on and how I was feeling right there, I wanted to come in on the hook, and I actually wanted to do something that remind me of not something scary, but just to have that feel. So who better to have that feel than the DMX? You know, y'all been eating long enough, now stop being greedy. With your hands on the pies, make me clap for the needy. Where it's like, if you're gonna be selfish for what you're doing, if you're selfish with your winnings and all that, then and don't want to help anybody else come up, you know, then we're going to come in and take what we want to come and take. I've been cracking the code. So with cracking the code, it's like a fun thing where within these hooks, within these songs, I just been finding a nice bounce, a nice beat when I'm knocking out the beat, a nice rhythm for the hooks and all that, where it's like I'm cracking the code to this thing where it's easy for me to knock these joints out. And seeing that it's easy for me to knock it out, how can I fail? And I ask that question over and over, and then we move on to the meat of the hook.
See, we either gon' connect like the Cuban links, or coming straight for your neck like the Cuban links. Like the Cuban links. Like the Cuban links.
Like I just said, if you're not helping, if you're only trying to suppress people while you move up, then we have a standoff right here where we either going to connect like Cuban links. Of course, the Cuban link change, you know. We're either going to connect like them, how they interlock with each other, or I'm coming straight for your neck like Cuban links. So that's a double play on what you do with Cuban links. Cuban links go around the neck and all that. And I wanted to use Cuban links because this is another chain that's like a staple in hip hop and all that. All the way back to my man Raekwon, the chef, only built for Cuban links. I had to throw that in there because I always loved that chain, of course, because of the influence through hip hop. And so here was a nice play on it to have a double meaning for the good and the bad of the Cuban links.
You see they in the break room, I'm still on the clock like I gotta get these stacks though. I see they getting fat though. See, I'm super hungry, ain't no focus on the lack though.
This is basically that saying, you know, while others are sleeping, I'm up hustling type thing, where they're in the break room, they do what they do and they slow down, but I'm still going. They getting super fat because of all the success they done had. They just resting and just being happy with everything they done, while I'm super hungry and I'm still coming forward, and I'm coming forward all.
Tell them niggas grow a backbone. I ain't one for milking, ain't no milking like I'm lactose. Want the butter, I don't need a toast. This shit is super fire, everything I speak is facts, ho.
You're not gonna just play me, try to take all my money, milking me for my money and all that. I'm not the one for milking like I'm lactose. Of course, we already know what that means for those punchlines. But then I take that milk and the lactose, I change that over to the butter, which I want the butter, but I don't need the toast, which follows, of course, butter on toast. So it's like, of course, I want the money, but I don't need the toast as in the burner or the gun, where it's like I don't need to use the gun to get the money. So that's just a nice play on words right there in that little section.
Tell them back up if they wanna act up. If you standing in my lane, you gon' feel the Mack truck. Want the fortune, not the fame, I don't really give a fuck. Well, I want the recognition, let them know I switch it up.
I want the fortune, of course, back on the money, but not the fame, I don't really give a fuck. But then I say, well, I do want the recognition. Let them know I switched it up, because it's like with this music, the many sides when it comes to a person. You know, you have one way that you feel for one day, where, or for most of it, you really don't care for it, but then you think and just be like, okay, but actually I do, you know. So with the recognition, it's kind of like I switched it up with this music when I always bring this music, and it's different. It's not what I hear it all the time, or it don't sound like what I usually hear on the radio, or it just sounds different. Or even recently when I was on one podcast, you know, it was just the guy was telling me, your music don't sound like Baltimore music. And I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking globally. I don't want my music to sound like a regional thing. I'm going after whoever is the best out here on the globe, you know, type thing.
Straight advancing, or watch us raise hell like a banshee. Coming in with the squad, Tom Clancy. Rainbow Six with the hits, nothing fancy. Just coming straight, kill it.
And then I say coming in with the squad, that me and my peoples, you know, we coming in to take over like Tom Clancy. What did Tom Clancy do? Rainbow Six with the hits, nothing fancy. You just, because within Rainbow Six, you know, you just go in there and you just do your thing. It ain't no let's blow up, make the scene hot and all that. You go in there basically like assassin. It's nothing fancy, just come in and straight kill it.
I'm trying to break bread together, clear the whole level, then we take into another. Is what it is, whatever. Try to screw me over, I could tell you ain't that clever.
Like the Cuban links, like start off the second verse, basically just reinforcing everything that I said. I'm trying to break bread together, you know. This ain't about trying to take from somebody. This is us coming together to do something together. You try to screw me over, I could tell you ain't that clever, because just like for a lot of us, a lot of people try to play you like you're a dummy and all that without knowing who you are. They look at you one way just because they know that you do this, or like in this case, it's just hip hop rapping and all that. And you don't know the intellect of a person. So it's like, you are not that clever to try to screw me over. I got my business in order.
I'm talking about band together, rubber band brothers, mothers, sisters, and their daughters. See, let's get it. See, I'm down for whatever. If you play the field, play it great, never wait, get it straight.
I'm talking about band together. So how you band things together? Rubber band, you know, rubber band brothers, you know, that's another saying, of course, about getting the knot, rubber band, the money and all that. Brothers, mothers, sisters, and their daughters, where it's basically not just the brothers and all that, it's anybody who's down for the cause. So it's just about all of us banding together to win at this game that we call life, basically. If you play the field, get on the field and play it right. Don't wait for permission, you know, and you go in to be great.
I'm just saying, we are bound to be linked. Don't you let the feeling sink, or the killers get the clink, or the clap, or the back. That's what put us on the map. Rapid fire, start a riot. See 100 miles and running till we ended up on top.
We're bound to be linked, of course. Cuban links. Don't you let the feeling sink. Once again, sticking to the theme, it's like if I feel like you're just trying to hold us down, then the feelings are going to sink, and that's what the killers get the clink, of course, clacking the gun, you know, or get the bat and all that. That's what put us on the map. This is kind of like the thing of when we felt like as a community, a lot of us felt like things was just deteriorating here in Baltimore, and then that's what started the riots, which is why I go to seeing that everything was going the way that it was at that time, where a lot of injustices was going on. It was like, okay, a lot of people feelings are really degenerating right now, and that's when people picked up the bats and all that here in Baltimore, and then just went out and started a riot.
Number one in the slot, number one in the charts, number one in your heart. See, I'd rather for that ladder, that's where legacy is sparked. See, forever on your chest like Cuban links, what you mean?
Number one in the slot, number one in the charts, or number one in your heart. So it's like, out of these three options, if it's not all of them, I would rather for the latter, which is the number one in your hearts. You enter somebody's heart when you enter in to being somebody that someone loves, where it's like, okay, this guy right here does a lot of great things to help me get me through the day and all that. That holds a lot more weight than just having a number one charting song or whatever. So that's the thing that actually built the legacy, you know, and that's where I end off everything when it comes to this last verse, where I go back to, instead of coming straight for your neck like the Cuban links, forever on your chest like Cuban links. So now it's something like a symbolism of, now I feel good because this is the thing that I wear, you know, that Cuban links thing. So that's that right there, and then we go straight back into the hook, and then we just finish off the song and having everything rocking. So that's Cuban links right there. And until next time, I'm D Brown, the Begotten Son, and I'm out.